So our first speaker is Santiago Correa, and he's going to introduce himself in a moment. And you may recognize him actually because he's got family at the school. He's a Colombian-born engineer who grew up in Medellin in the time of the drug cartel wars. Santiago holds a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. However, he spent most of his career in consumer packaged goods. Santiago and his wife Claudia are proud Canadian immigrants, and they've been calling Canada home for the last 11 years. They have children at the school. Samuel's in grade 8 and Maria's in grade 4. Santiago wants to share his thoughts with you today about today's complex world and his perspectives as an immigrant. So I know you'll all make him feel very, very welcome. Here is Santiago.
In this treacherous world, nothing is truth or a lie. Everything is according to the eye of the beholder. So what I'm trying to say, or what this speaks about, is that perspectives are very subjective. Like, everyone can, in a very unique topic or any type of conversation we can have at any given time, we can have different points of view and perspectives. So perspectives are subjective, but then they can also be a common ground, a theme. They can be a way of approaching things once we realize that we are on the same page with other individuals. And so with me and anybody else, if we start talking and knowing each other, I'm gonna talk to you about where I'm coming from, and you would understand why I could have certain perspectives that would be common to yours or would be different to yours. So I grew up in Medellin and in Colombia, and I was surrounded by family. Like, family has been the key cornerstone, like the pillar of our lives. We grew up, like I would spend almost 3 months out of the whole year in a country house full of family, like cousins, aunts, uncles, and this just creates that environment of, you know, like sharing things, celebrating things, getting together to get support to each other when things are not running very well. So family is one of those things that are very important for me. The nature, again, like this place was all like in the country, so spending my time outside, enjoying nature, just playing with, you know, sticks, right? Like I didn't need any fancy or complex or sophisticated video games to entertain myself growing up. It was a different time where we would just be building stuff out of pieces of wood and digging out trenches to play terrorists and, you know, policemen and all this sort of thing. So nature is really something that I appreciate. Now coming to Canada, it's not that I planned it. I didn't do that kind of investigation when I was planning to come here, but what a beautiful nature we have, and the water up north is unbelievable. It's one of my favorite things to enjoy during the summertime. And Colombians, like I believe our population is like probably 98% Catholic, so no difference to me. I was raised under the Catholic values, and one of those things that sticks out and that my dad repeated to me once and again was treat others as you wish to be treated, right? So under that really simple principle, that's kind of like what rallies around Catholicism, or the way I want to practice it anyways. Care for others. I had many examples of growing up with my grandmother, buying gifts for the less favorable, for those in need around, again, in this cottage country place that we had, that we can go on and celebrate our Christmas and spend our vacation. There was many, it's not like the Canadian farmer that has his machinery and cars to do all their farming needs. No, these are people that are working the lands for others, and they have a minimum wage, so they don't have a lot of resources. So my grandmother will gather all these children, and she'll invite them to our place, and she'll celebrate the Christmas, give out gifts for them. Not only that was the most significant example of caring for others, but so many other ones. Like with my dad, for instance, driving up to that same place from the main, like from the town, from the closest main town, from the market. If my dad saw somebody walking up the road, which would have been a few kilometers away for their places, he'll stop and invite them to hop on to help them carrying with the whole grocery bag that they were coming from the market with. And I actually tried to do that here once, but they look at me like, no, that's not safe. And I'm like, sure, don't worry about it. I continue my way. So you can see a little bit of what I've learned, the values that I grew up on, and then you can understand a little bit of if we started to talk and we interact, what kind of perspectives would I have against community or respect for nature. And I put in brackets there in terms of the nature, said something about resources and waste management. I've been here for 11 years now, so you kind of get carried away with the way of living. Adopted my own Canadian perspective, and you see things as normal now, the way they are. But then, like with one exercise like this one, I can go back and say, hey, have you guys thought about the sizes of cups of coffee and those humongous cups? Why do we really drink all that coffee when we ask for one of those cups, or it sits there in the desk and just gets cooled down and you just waste it, right? Same thing with so many different stuff. I guess another component is packaging around the food that we buy in the supermarket, but I understand that this is a very wide and big country, and things have to be protected to be shipped out to very distant places. But again, there's a good opportunity in reducing waste and protecting our nature and doing better for ourselves and the future generations. And we came here and we were delighted. Like few of the things that jumped out to us was like organization, like respect, like organization meaning even you take a bus here, it has a dedicated stop every few blocks out. In Colombia, you can stop a bus whenever you want it. Like you can just make yourself into the street and put your finger and stop a bus. It's like, wow, like this is such organized culture. Oh yeah, respect on the lines, lining up. Like, are you kidding me? Like in Colombia, everyone is looking for a way of jumping in the line and cutting somebody else in the line. Same way with the cars. If you're in a traffic jam, patience. It's unbelievable here. Like Canadians are so patient and respectful of each other, and they just keep on their spot and keep going. No way. You gotta be aggressive in Colombia. You gotta cut somebody else. You want to get first to the destination you're driving. So let's say that all those things sold us very well in terms of there's a better place to live in. Like this is a different perspective now that not many Colombians or any other people in the world can have. Like how many people does have the chance to travel and experience something different and then put in a balance and say, wow, like I can really live better somewhere else. And on top of that, we met this person and he kind of brought us up to the topic of the immigration process and your possibilities of application for an immigration or even citizenship after the fact. So that's what happened. Like we went back, we finished our English courses, we did what we had to do, so getting married, and we kept working a little bit, and then we were still focused and driven to come back and apply for our residency. So that's what happened. Like it took us, so that was 97, we landed here in 2003. And so that started the immigration process. I can call it settling in, looking for your starting your life, putting your life together again, and starting your new career in your new place. It's really challenging. Like there's a lot of information flowing in, right? Like imagine yourselves nowadays. There's a great deal of information bombarded to you, and you come across so much information every day. You gotta be very focused as an immigrant there. So again, manufacturing world, it's been gone so many years ago to China. In my own industry on consumer packaged goods, we see more companies manufacturing food, moving it to more efficient plants out of Canada or to other parts of the world. One of the most important decisions in life is what career you're going to choose, and you guys are going to be facing that pretty soon. So be careful, or try to watch what universities are offering you. I guess any university would like to have you. It's like their job is to sell you their program. But you guys got to be very critical at selecting that program and really making sure that there's a fit for that program in the job market. I think the school does a great job at inspiring you and making you think outside the box and doing things differently. So keep doing that. Choose a mentor. We as adults, sometimes we haven't figured it out either. So a mentor is key for you. Have one or two or whatever it is, try to reach out to people that can really lead you throughout decision making and career path, and use your passion to make decisions about your career. That's going to be the best. We all trying to finish our Friday afternoon. We say, oh, good today is Friday, right? Like it's like we all do that. And I think artists and people that is like so in-depth, so passionate about their jobs, I don't think they do that kind of comment on a Friday afternoon. Like for them it's just like, I'm living and doing the best I can do. I'm so grateful because I work with what is my passion. So try to follow your passion in selecting your career, and I think money and all that sort of thing will come after. And probably being an entrepreneur could be a solution. Again, we're talking about there's less jobs for every one of us every day out there. So probably creating your own job, and even the possibility that by having your own business or being an entrepreneur, you may help others to have a job as well. So I leave you with those thoughts, and hope you would be well armed and resourced to make good decisions moving forward.